Alex Reed adjusted the straps of his backpack as the shuttle descended through the vibrant skies of HFY. The atmosphere outside was a swirl of blues and greens, unlike anything back on Earth. Beside him, Commander Sarah Lee monitored the shuttle's instruments closely, while Dr. Raj Patel, the mission's lead scientist, peered eagerly out of the window. "Look at that terrain," Raj murmured almost to himself. "It's even more varied than we expected." Sarah nodded. "Let's keep focused. Alex, once we land, your priority is the signal source. Raj, you're on samples. I'll handle site security." The shuttle touched down gently on a bed of soft, violet grass. The team exited, their boots sinking slightly into the spongy ground. Alex led the way, his handheld scanner beeping intermittently as it homed in on the mysterious signal. "Over here," Alex called out, gesturing towards a cluster of towering rock formations. As they approached, Raj scooped up several soil samples, his face lit with the thrill of discovery. Suddenly, Alex stopped. Ahead, obscured by a large boulder, was a figure slumped against the rock. "Hey, over here!" Alex shouted, breaking into a run. The figure was distinctly humanoid, with light blue skin and delicate, ethereal features. It was an alien girl, her breaths shallow and uneven. Sarah was immediately at his side, her medical training taking over. "She's alive but needs help. Raj, get the med kit." While Raj fetched the supplies, Alex knelt beside the alien. Her eyes fluttered open, meeting his with a mixture of fear and confusion. "It's okay. We're here to help," Alex said softly, hoping his tone conveyed more comfort than his words, which she likely didn't understand. Raj returned with the kit, and Sarah quickly administered first aid. The alien girl watched them, her breath steadying. Alex noticed her attention shift between him and the others, her eyes lingering curiously on the equipment. "What's your name?" Alex asked gently, pointing to himself. "I'm Alex." She seemed to understand the gesture, her lips parting slightly as she whispered, "Surana." "Surana," Alex repeated, smiling. "Nice to meet you, Surana." Once stable, Surana attempted to sit up, her hand reaching out to the device that had been emitting the signal, the reason for their mission. Alex picked it up, turning it over in his hands. "This is what brought us here," he explained, showing it to her. "Can you tell us about it?" Surana spoke slowly, her voice musical but filled with urgency. Though the words were unfamiliar, the tone suggested importance. Alex nodded, pretending to understand, but he turned to Raj, who was adjusting a universal translator device. "Let's get this working," Alex said. "We need to understand her." Moments later, the device crackled to life, and Surana's words began to translate into choppy, but intelligible English. "Danger," she said clearly. "Poison in water. Bad for all." Raj and Sarah exchanged concerned looks. "Poison? Could this be a natural toxin?" Raj pondered aloud. "We need to check this," Sarah decided. "Alex, keep her talking. Find out everything you can." As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the land, Alex sat with Surana, the translator between them. Their conversation unfolded, the beginnings of trust forming. Despite the dire warning she had given, there was a mutual understanding that they were now in this together. "Don't worry, Surana," Alex reassured her as they waited for the others to return. "We're going to figure this out. Together." The alien girl nodded, her expression easing into a tentative smile. In the fading light, Alex saw not just a stranger from another world, but a new friend, a companion in the vast, uncharted wilderness of HFY. Chapter 2, The Poisoning. The team set up a temporary base camp near the rock formations where they had found Surana. Alex and Surana spent the evening communicating through the translator, piecing together the alarming situation regarding the water supply. "Something has contaminated the main reservoir," Surana explained, her voice tinged with worry. "It's deliberate, dangerous. Do you know who did this?" Alex asked, his brow furrowed. Surana shook her head. "Not sure. Others, enemies of peace." Raj interjected, his tone serious. "We need to analyze the water. If it's affecting you, it might affect us, or we could use it to help. I'll go, offered Commander Lee. Raj, prepare your equipment. Alex, keep her talking. We need all the information we can get. As Sarah ventured out to collect water samples, Alex turned back to Sarana. How do you normally purify your water? He inquired. We have methods, natural filters, plants. But this toxin is new, resistant. Sarana responded, her voice reflecting a mixture of frustration and fear. Meanwhile, Raj set up his portable lab, bustling with vials and digital displays. This might take a while, he muttered, concentrating on his tests. Alex continued his dialogue with Sarana, each exchange through the translator strengthening their burgeoning alliance. We want to help, not just because it's the right thing to do, but because your peace is crucial to understanding this place. Sarana nodded, her eyes meeting Alex's with renewed determination. I can show you the plants we use. Maybe together we find solution. That's a start, Alex said, smiling encouragingly. Lead the way, Sarana. Together with Sarana guiding him, Alex collected samples of the local flora she described. The alien landscape was both bizarre and beautiful, with towering flora that shimmered under the planet's twin suns. When they returned, Sarah was already back with water samples. It's definitely tainted, she announced grimly. Raj, see if the plant extracts can make a difference. Raj combined the extracts with the contaminated water, his instruments whirring and beeping as they processed the new variables. The team watched anxiously, hoping for a positive reaction. It's working, Raj finally exclaimed. The toxins are breaking down. Excellent. Sarah clapped her hands, relief washing over her face. Sarana, you've been incredibly helpful. Thank you. Sarana's lips curved into a smile, her earlier apprehension easing somewhat. Thank you for trusting me, she said, her gaze lingering on Alex, who had stood by her side through the ordeal. But we're not out of the woods yet, Raj cautioned. We need to ensure this solution can be replicated and distributed among your people, Sarana. Can you arrange a meeting with your leaders? Yes, I can take you to them tomorrow, she replied. They will listen. They must. That night, as the team prepared for the next day's diplomatic efforts, Alex sat beside Sarana, watching the stars. Today was a good day, he said thoughtfully. We made progress. Sarana leaned closer, her voice soft. Yes, Alex. With your help, maybe there is hope for more than just survival. Maybe for true understanding. Alex nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders, but also the stirrings of something deeper, something personal. We'll do it together, he affirmed, his voice steady and sure. As they sat in the quiet of the alien night, the bond between them deepened, forged by mutual respect and a shared mission. Tomorrow would bring its challenges, but tonight, they allowed themselves a moment of peace amid the stars. Chapter 3, The Cure. The early morning light bathed Eris, 5 in hues of gold and amber as Alex and Sarana led the way to the Clara community. Commander Lee and Dr. Patel followed closely, their equipment prepared for what might be a pivotal meeting. We need to communicate clearly, Alex reminded everyone. We're not just here as visitors, but as partners. Sarana nodded, her expression grave. My people are wary of outsiders, but they trust me. I will vouch for you. As they approached the Clara village, a striking structure of interwoven branches and bioluminescent leaves, a group of Claran elders emerged to greet them. Their leader, an imposing figure named Thalen, regarded the humans with a mix of curiosity and caution. Sarana stepped forward, speaking rapidly in her native tongue. After a moment, she turned to Alex. I've explained why we're here. They're ready to listen. Alex introduced each team member, then detailed their findings and the solution Raj had developed with Sarana's help. Raj pulled out a small device, showing the before and after results of the water samples. Thalen, after listening intently, spoke, his voice resonant and deep. Your science is powerful, he admitted, his eyes narrowing slightly as they settled on the device. But can it truly cleanse our water? Let's show you, Raj offered, stepping forward with a portable purifier. He poured some of the tainted water into it and then added the plant extract mixture they had prepared. Moments later, he invited Thalen to test the water. Cautiously, Thalen sipped the clear water, then passed it around to the other elders. Murmurs of approval rippled through the group. "This is good," Thalen finally declared, his voice ringing with a newfound respect. "You have not only saved our water but perhaps our relations with your kind as well." Sarah smiled warmly. "We hope this is just the beginning of our cooperation." With the ice broken, the elders invited the team to join them in a meal, an offering of peace and gratitude. As they sat down together, Alex beside Serana, the conversation flowed more freely. They discussed potential future projects, from environmental conservation efforts to cultural exchanges. Alex turned to Serana, noticing her animated discussion with Raj about the local flora. "You did an amazing job today," he whispered. Serana's smile was radiant. "With your help, Alex, it feels like we're building something meaningful here." After the meal, Thalen led the group on a tour of the village, showing them their methods of living harmoniously with the environment. It was clear that both humans and Clarins could learn much from each other. As the tour concluded, Thalen paused, his gaze thoughtful. "Serana has spoken highly of your courage and your spirit," he said to Alex. "We would be honored if you would consider extending your stay with us to further this bond." Alex exchanged a glance with his team. "We would be honored, Thalen. We'll need to discuss it further among ourselves and with our superiors back home, but I believe we're all eager to explore this opportunity." The walk back to their camp was filled with a sense of accomplishment. Raj clapped Alex on the back. "You know, I think we've really made a difference today," he said, grinning. "Yeah," Alex agreed, his thoughts on the potential of their newfound alliance and the deepening connection with Serana. "Today was a good day, but I have a feeling the best is yet to come." That night, as they gathered around a small fire outside their camp, the stars overhead seemed to shine a little brighter, reflecting the promise of new beginnings and the enduring power of cooperation and understanding. Chapter 4. A Friendship Deepens. Alex woke early, the pale violet dawn casting a soft glow over their encampment. He stepped out of the tent, stretched his arms, and inhaled the crisp, alien air. Serana was already awake, sitting cross-legged near the edge of the camp, studying a small, glowing crystal she had collected. "Morning," Alex said, making his way over. She turned her head slightly, a warm smile brightening her face. "Good morning, Alex. The air here feels alive at sunrise." He nodded, settling down beside her. "It does. It's one of those things I'll miss when we leave." He picked up a nearby stone, turning it over in his hands. "You seem lost in thought. What's on your mind?" Serana glanced at the crystal and then at him. "I was thinking about how quickly things have changed. A few days ago, I was certain I would die poisoned, alone. And now," her voice trailed off, but her smile remained. "You have a whole group of new friends invading your village and drinking all your water?" Alex teased, his grin inviting a light-hearted response. She laughed, the sound musical and full of life. "Something like that. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we found you," he said softly, his smile fading just enough to show he meant it. The sound of movement came from behind them. Dr. Patel approached, holding his field tablet, a cup of coffee in his other hand. "Good news," Raj announced as he joined them. "The purifier is working better than expected. We can increase the output with some adjustments." Serana nodded, grateful. "That will help so many people." "Thank you." "Raj gets all the credit for the tech," Alex chimed in. "I just followed orders and carried stuff around." Serana shook her head. "You did much more than that." Raj gave Alex a sidelong glance, then smirked. "It's true, Alex. You're basically a local hero." Alex chuckled and shook his head. "Let's focus on what's next." "Serana, are there more of these crystals nearby? I've been thinking about how they might help stabilize the purifier's energy source." "There's a cave not far from here," Serana said. "The crystals are more plentiful inside, but it's a bit of a climb." Alex stood, brushing off his pants. I'm up for it. What do you say, Raj? Wanna stretch your legs? Why not? Raj agreed, though he made a show of stretching first. Anything for science. Sarana led them along a narrow trail that wound through rolling hills and alien vegetation. The landscape was a stunning array of hues, blues and purples dominating the flora, with sparkling crystal formations protruding like natural sculptures. This place never stops amazing me, Raj said, pausing to snap a photo. Imagine how Earth's first explorers must have felt. Except we're the first explorers to see this, Alex pointed out. There's no map, no guidebook. We're it. True, Raj agreed, then added with a grin. Though you do seem to have your own personal guide. He nodded toward Sarana, who was just ahead of them. Alex ignored the teasing but couldn't help feeling a slight warmth in his cheeks. Sarana turned back toward them, her expression curious. Is everything all right? Yeah, Alex said quickly. Just enjoying the view. They reached the cave a short while later. Inside, the crystals glowed faintly, reflecting off the damp walls. Raj knelt to examine a cluster, his tools already in hand. These are perfect. With just a few samples, I can fine-tune the purifier. Alex stood beside Sarana, who ran her fingers along a smooth crystal formation. This is where my people once came to gather lightstones, she explained. Before the poison, we used these to heal. Now, they mostly remind us of what we've lost. Maybe that's changing, Alex offered. Maybe these crystals will help rebuild, not just heal. She looked at him for a long moment before nodding. You're different, Alex. Most would just take what they needed and leave. You care. Alex rubbed the back of his neck. Well, I've always been a little too stubborn to just walk away. If I can help, I will. Raj cleared his throat from across the cave. You two want to give me a hand here? I can't carry all these samples myself. On it, Alex said, shooting Raj a look. Come on, Sarana. Let's get to work. The three of them spent the next hour carefully collecting samples. Alex used a portable drill to dislodge larger pieces, while Sarana guided him to the most stable formations. Their hands occasionally brushed as they worked, and Alex noticed how natural it felt to be in sync with her. Raj, oblivious to their quiet exchanges, kept muttering about energy fields and purification ratios. As they left the cave, the twin suns were setting, casting a warm glow over the hills. The walk back was quieter, the three of them enjoying the tranquil beauty around them. At the camp, Commander Lee had prepared a simple meal. They ate together, the mood light and relaxed. After dinner, Alex and Sarana sat near the fire, watching as the stars emerged one by one. I think today was a success, Alex said. Yes, Sarana agreed, her voice low and steady. And I think it's just the beginning. Alex turned to her, his expression serious. If you keep working with us, if we keep working together, I think we can do something really meaningful here. She met his gaze, her eyes reflecting the firelight. Then we'll keep going. Together. Raj strolled past, breaking the moment with a casual wave. Don't stay up too late, lovebirds. We have more work tomorrow. Alex sighed, shaking his head. He's never going to let up, is he? Sarana laughed softly. I don't mind. It's nice to have this kind of company. Alex smiled at that, feeling a quiet sense of contentment he hadn't expected. For the first time since landing on Eris 5, he thought he might truly belong here, not just because of the mission, but because of the connections they were building. Chapter 5. Starlit Confessions. The fire crackled softly as the team sat together in the camp's central clearing, the alien stars above casting faint shadows. Dinner had long since ended, and Dr. Patel had retired to his tent, leaving Alex and Sarana alone in the quiet of the night. Alex leaned back against a smooth stone, hands folded behind his head. You ever just look up and wonder how many other people are out there? He mused aloud. Sarana sat beside him, her knees tucked to her chest. I used to as a child. I would imagine whole worlds full of people, as curious and lost as we were. Back then, the stars didn't seem so far away. She glanced at him, her expression softer than he'd ever seen it. And you, Alex? Did you imagine meeting someone like me? Not exactly, Alex admitted with a chuckle. Back home, the stars were just stars. Pretty sure but distant. Even when I got into engineering and space exploration, I thought of them more as challenges. Obstacles to overcome. He paused, his tone shifting. But now, sitting here with you, they feel more like possibilities. Serana tilted her head, studying him. You've changed since we first met. Maybe, Alex said, or maybe I just stopped worrying so much about what's out there and started appreciating what's right in front of me. For a long moment, they were quiet, the only sounds coming from the faint breeze and the crackling fire. Then Serana reached out, her hand brushing against his. Alex turned his head, their eyes meeting. You've been more than I ever could have hoped for, Serana said quietly, her voice steady. When I was lying by that rock, weak and certain I wouldn't make it, you didn't hesitate. You didn't even know me, yet you helped. It wasn't just me, Alex replied, his tone serious. Sarah, Raj, everyone did their part. We're a team. But you were the first, Serana insisted. You saw me not as a stranger, not as an alien, but as someone worth saving. Alex didn't know how to respond to that. Instead, he shifted slightly closer, their shoulders almost touching. Serana, he began. When I signed up for this mission, I thought it'd be all about science, discoveries, data. But meeting you, I feel like I've discovered something more important. She smiled, and in the flickering firelight, Alex could see the faint shimmer of unshed tears. I never imagined I'd say this to someone from another world. But Alex, I trust you. And not just with my life, with my heart. Alex's breath caught. Serana. She leaned in, her gaze steady, and Alex met her halfway. Their lips touched, a tentative brush at first, then a firmer connection as they both leaned into the moment. Her hand rested lightly on his chest, and he placed his on her arm, the contact grounding them both. It wasn't just a kiss. It was the culmination of every shared look, every quiet moment, every time they'd worked together and found comfort in each other's presence. When they finally pulled apart, Alex kept his forehead against hers, their breath mingling in the cool night air. That was... He trailed off, unable to find the words. Serana chuckled softly, her voice still trembling slightly. It was something I didn't think I'd ever experience. Alex squeezed her hand. I don't know what's ahead, Serana, but I know I want you in my future. Whatever that looks like. She nodded, a small smile playing at her lips. Then let's face it together, Alex. No matter what comes. For the rest of the night, they stayed there by the fire, their hands entwined, watching the alien stars will overhead. In that quiet moment, everything else, missions, politics, even the differences between their worlds, faded away. It was just them, together under the vast expanse of the universe, their bond growing stronger with each passing second. Chapter 6. Shadows of Suspicion. As the morning light filtered through the towering trees of HFY, the camp bustled with activity. Dr. Patel was meticulously cataloging the latest data on the water purifiers, while Commander Lee reviewed protocols and supplies. Alex and Serana, still glowing from the quiet bond they had forged the night before, set out early to begin repairs on the main purifier unit near the village's central well. Alex crouched near the base of the machine, his toolkit open and his hands deep inside the mechanism. You'd think they could have designed this with easier access to the filters, he muttered. Serana, standing nearby and holding a scanner, smirked. Complaining already, Alex? I thought humans thrived on challenges. Sure, when the challenges make sense. He grinned up at her, then turned his focus back to the device. All right, hand me the sensor probe. Let's see if this thing is even picking up the flow correctly. She passed him the tool, watching as he adjusted a few dials. The Clarens built this system to blend traditional methods with new technology. It's meant to honor the old ways while improving our survival. Well, right now it's honoring my patience, Alex said, shaking his head as the readings flickered. But it's a good concept. I get why you'd want to keep your cultural roots intact. They worked side by side for nearly an hour, trading tools and ideas. Serana pointed out details of the Claren filtration methods that Alex had missed, while he used his engineering expertise to streamline the purifier's efficiency. Their easy banter and shared focus made the time fly by. When they finished, Alex wiped the sweat from his brow and stood. That should hold for a while, at least until we can get more of those crystals integrated. Serana leaned against the well's edge, looking at him. You're not what I expected when I first saw your group. How so? I thought humans would be colder, more distant, but you care about things, people. You've shown that over and over. Alex shrugged. You're giving me too much credit. I just try to do what's right. Serana reached out, her hand lightly brushing his arm. And that's more than enough. Before he could respond, a voice called out from behind them. Alex, Serana, we need you back at camp. It was Commander Lee, her tone clipped. They hurried back to find a tense gathering of Claren elders and the rest of the human team. Thalen stood with his arms crossed, his expression unreadable. What's going on? Alex asked, stepping forward. Thalen's sharp eyes darted to Serana, then to Alex. We have received word that some among my people believe you humans are here to take from us, not help us. Alex frowned. That's not true. We're here to share knowledge and resources. Not everyone sees it that way, Thalen said, his voice low. There are rumors that your machines will drain the life from our land, that your help comes at a cost we cannot afford. Raj spoke up, sounding incredulous. Drain the life? Our technology is designed to restore balance, not destroy it. I understand that, Thalen said, but others are less certain. They see your advanced tools, your strange methods, and they fear what they do not know. Serana stepped forward, her voice firm. Thalen, these humans saved me. They saved our water. Without them, we would still be suffering. Thalen raised a hand. I do not doubt your words, Serana, but convincing the others will take more than stories. They need to see proof of your intentions. Alex nodded slowly. All right, we'll show them. Raj, let's put together a demonstration. Something that clearly shows the benefits of the purifier without harming anything else. Raj tapped his chin thoughtfully. I could set up a live purification process showing how the crystals work in tandem with the filters. That might help. Commander Lee folded her arms. If that's the plan, let's get it done quickly. We need to dispel these suspicions before they grow into something more dangerous. The group dispersed, each taking on their respective tasks. Alex and Serana stayed behind for a moment, their eyes meeting. Alex, do you think we can convince them? She asked quietly. I think we have to try, he said. We're all in this together. If we can't find a way to trust each other, none of this will last. Serana nodded, her hand brushing his again. I'll do everything I can to help. Alex smiled at her, his determination steady. So will I. Let's make this work. Chapter 7, The Unity Festival. The warm glow of the Claren lanterns bathed the village in a spectrum of soothing colors as preparations for the Unity Festival began. Alex stood near the center of the main square, watching as the Claren villagers strung shimmering crystals from arches made of living vines. The atmosphere was lively, filled with the sound of melodic instruments and the hum of conversations. Serana appeared at his side, her face lit with both excitement and a hint of nervousness. It's been many seasons since we last held this festival, she said, smoothing her flowing, violet-hued tunic. And it's the first time we've invited guests from another world. Alex nodded, adjusting the collar of his field jacket. First time for me, too. But it's nice to see everyone coming together like this. As if on cue, Raj walked over, a wide grin on his face. I didn't think I'd see the day. Look at all this. They've even got me trying some kind of fruit paste thing. Tastes like spicy bananas. Weird, but good. Sounds like something you'd like, Alex quipped, earning a chuckle from Raj. What's Sarah up to? She's busy going over security arrangements, Raj replied. Thalen asked her to ensure nothing disrupts the festival. Serana shifted slightly, looking toward the cluster of elders gathered at the edge of the square. The elders are still uneasy, They worry this will be seen as favoritism toward you and your team. They're just scared of change, Alex said. Once they see the festival go smoothly, they'll start to relax. A Claren child ran by, holding a glowing lantern aloft. Serana's lips curved into a soft smile. This festival used to be about hope, about a brighter future. Maybe tonight it can be that again. As the evening deepened, the square filled with Clarens and the human crew. Soft music played, and the villagers began a slow, graceful dance that involved weaving in and out of the glowing arches. Alex watched in quiet appreciation. Serana, standing next to him, nudged his arm. They're inviting us to join. What, me? I'm not much of a dancer. She laughed, a musical sound. It's not about skill. Just follow my lead. Before Alex could protest further, Serana took his hand and pulled him into the line of dancers. The steps were simple, but Alex still felt out of place at first. Serana, however, moved effortlessly, her movements fluid and confident. She guided him gently, her hand light on his arm as they moved together through the glowing arches. "You're doing well," she said, her voice teasing. "Sure," Alex muttered, grinning despite himself. "As long as nobody looks down at my feet." "They're not looking at your feet," she assured him, meeting his gaze. "Trust me." Something in her voice, in the way she looked at him, made him relax. He stopped worrying about where his feet were or whether he was keeping perfect time. Instead, he focused on Serana, on the way her hand felt in his, the way her smile lit up the dimming square. They danced through the arches again, the world outside the festival fading from their minds. The colors of the lanterns mixed with the natural glow of the crystals overhead, creating a dreamlike atmosphere. When the music slowed and the dancers began to disperse, Alex and Serana found themselves standing at the edge of the square. "That wasn't so bad," Alex admitted, slightly out of breath. "I told you," Serana said, her smile unwavering. Raj approached, holding 2 small cups of a sparkling Claren drink. "Look at you two, blending in like pros. I didn't think you had it in you, Alex." "Neither did I," Alex said, taking the drink with a nod of thanks. The 3 of them stood together, watching as the festival continued. Villagers shared stories and laughter around small fires, and the faint sound of music drifted through the air. Alex turned to Serana, his voice quieter now. "This is more than I expected. I'm glad we came." "So am I," she said softly, her gaze on the festivities. "Don't get too comfortable," Raj said, clapping Alex on the shoulder. "Sarah still wants us to go over tomorrow's plan first thing in the morning." Alex groaned, though his smile never faltered. "Of course she does." When Raj wandered off to find another spicy banana concoction, Alex and Serana lingered by the glowing vines. She looked at him, her expression thoughtful. "Thank you, Alex, for being here, for everything." He met her eyes, and for a moment, neither spoke. The warmth of the festival seemed to cocoon them, wrapping their small, shared world in light and music. Finally, Alex broke the silence. "No thanks needed, Serana. This feels right." She smiled again, and they stood together as the festival carried on around them, a quiet connection forming in the midst of the gathering. For tonight, at least, the fears and uncertainties faded into the background, leaving only the glow of the lanterns and the bond between them. Chapter 8. Among Stars and Shadows. Morning arrived on HFY, painting the horizon in streaks of orange and pink. Alex Reed stood at the edge of the village, gazing at the lush terrain stretching toward the sky. The air was crisp, and a faint hum of activity stirred behind him as the Claren villagers began their day. Despite the peaceful scenery, Alex felt a tangle of emotions. Serana joined him, her steps light but steady. "You've been quiet," she noted, brushing a strand of dark hair from her face. "Just thinking," Alex admitted. "We're heading back to Earth soon. I don't know what comes next." Serana stood beside him, silent for a moment. "Neither do I," she finally said. "But I know I don't want this to be the end." Alex turned to look at her. "What do you mean?" "I mean, Alex, we've started something here. Something that's bigger than either of us. My people, your people, they're finally beginning to trust each other. And she hesitated, her voice softening. And I don't want to lose what we've found together. Alex exhaled, running a hand through his hair. I don't want that either. But it's not as simple as just staying here. Earth will want a full report. They'll have questions, demands. And I'm not sure the Claren leaders are ready for that kind of scrutiny. Serana nodded slowly. Thalen and the elders will have concerns, yes. But if we present a unified front, show them that this isn't about taking over or exploiting resources, we might have a chance. He looked at her, admiration mingling with worry. That's a lot of weight to carry. We'll carry it together, she said, placing her hand lightly on his arm. You're not alone in this. Their conversation was interrupted by Dr. Patel's voice calling from behind them. Alex, Serana, Thalen wants to meet before we leave. He says it's important. They exchanged a glance before heading back toward the village square. Thalen and a group of Claren elders were already gathered, their expressions a mixture of resolve and uncertainty. Thalen stepped forward, addressing Alex directly. You and your team have done much for us, and we are grateful. But there are still questions among our people. Questions about the future. I understand, Alex said, and I don't have all the answers. But I can promise that my team and I came here with good intentions. We're not looking to take anything from you. We're here to learn and share. Thalen nodded, his gaze shifting to Serana. And you, Serana? Do you believe these humans will honor their word? I do, she said without hesitation. Alex and his team have proven themselves. They have saved our lives and treated us with respect. I trust them. Thalen's eyes narrowed slightly, but then he sighed. Very well. We will take the first step. We will send representatives to Earth, alongside your team, to discuss the next stages of this alliance. That's a wise decision, Commander Lee said, stepping into the conversation. A partnership like this will need open communication from both sides. As the details were finalized, Alex felt a sense of relief. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it was a start. And, more importantly, it meant that he and Serana would have more time to figure out what their relationship would look like moving forward. Later, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Alex and Serana walked along a quiet trail just outside the village. The stars began to appear one by one, their light flickering against the deepening sky. This place is incredible, Alex said, glancing at her. It's going to be hard to leave. You'll come back, Serana said confidently. This isn't the end. It's just a beginning. He stopped, turning toward her. Do you really believe that? I do, she replied, her voice steady. Because I believe in you. Alex felt his throat tighten, but he smiled, reaching out to take her hand. Serana, I don't know what the future holds, but I do know that whatever comes next, I want to face it with you. She squeezed his hand. And we will. Together, under the alien sky, they stood in silence, hand in hand, their connection stronger than ever. The stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, as if welcoming the partnership that had been forged not just between two worlds, but between two hearts.